Get him out of here!
How does that not indicate to you, like, hey, sometimes, like, these prospects are awesome?
Ramos, get back! They snatched that chain, boy. Get back! What's all gonna do about it? Popeye snatched that chain. Get back! We want that snack wrap. They got 3 flavors. Y'all got 1. Get back!
Hey, everybody. Welcome into the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. It's another Tuesday following a Cleveland Browns loss. Pat McGuire, Jack O'Rourke, Nick Padone, Rob Watson. Fellas, that show yesterday, I got to take a moment before I even ask you guys how you're doing. Unbelievable show yesterday on the Big Factor. If you're not tuned in to this type of stuff right now on the Big Play Sports Network, these guys were so spot on with all of the takes. College football, Jack. Browns from Nick and Rob. Ryan, unbelievable job on there as well. But, Nick, has anything changed before Kevin Stefanski didn't get fired yesterday? Some people wanted it, myself included. But where do we stand here for the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, I mean, we all know where this is heading, right? So that's really all I can say. Yeah. We know where this is heading. He's
fait accompli, as you always say.
Yeah, still the coach of the job. I mean, you know, lose to the Jets, then a couple weeks later you lose to the Tennessee Titans. Like, I thought going into this season that the Browns were one of those teams that had an opportunity to be like the best of the worst. You know, like that you could be better than the Jets, you're better than the Raiders, 24. You're better than the Dolphins. Yeah, you're, you know, right in the mid-20s in the National Football League because you've got a tremendous defense. And I still believe that defense is really good. But the rest of it is just so bad, from the special teams to the offense.
Well, Nick,
and now they couldn't get the run game going. Like, it's just... as the old saying goes, it truly is December in Perea.
I don't think you necessarily made a wrong assessment though of that team. Like I think if you look at what this team has been since Shedeur took over, like I understand you're still 1-2. It's not a winning record or anything, and you've played two pretty darn bad teams along the way to get there. But like if you look at the incompetencies throughout the year from the coaching staff, like there's a good chance you're looking at, I don't know, just like insert random name coach or Shedeur takes over 5 weeks earlier. You might be picking more like 10th in the draft this year.
Yeah, dude, it's sad. I mean, like, it's sad. And I know there are
Really
so
is.
many people out there that, like, you know, they wanted to lose that game against the Titans because it ultimately was better for the draft pick. And now if the draft was today, you'd be 4th. The only QB-needy team in front of you currently is the Raiders. And the Raiders and the Giants still play each other. So there's going to be motion at the bottom in terms of the NFL draft order. It's just, like, I'm sick of losing. Like, I think, like, and I don't know, like, that really hit me this year because, like, this was supposed to be the window, and we all knew that the Deshaun trade was going to set everything back a little bit, but like this was supposed to be the time frame where they were going to be competing because the cap space isn't set up perfectly and you're coming off not having 3 first-round picks. Like you thought that you'd be contending for like, you know, AFC championships when you made the Deshaun trade. And if you look around the league, it actually upsets me even more. Like you see like the Philly is not right. Like they won the Super Bowl last year. The Chiefs who were in the Super Bowl last year might not even make the playoffs. The AFC North is a complete joke. So if there was ever a season where you were able to get out of your way and contend for something purposeful, it would have been this year. It would have been 2025. And it just upsets me that like they just find themselves in a familiar position. They find themselves looking like the same old Browns. And it's really upsetting because like the losing is really starting to catch up to me.
Speaking of the losing, I was talking to Jack and Pat about this pre-show. I went back and I watched that 2-point play, and we all kind of just assumed it was a reverse. I got news for you guys. That was a pass. We were drawing up a pass. We had Cornelius Lucas running a route to the post. We had Harold Fannin on a kind of out route, corner route to the outside in a flat route. And the line wasn't pushing up to block. Also, Quinshon Judkins threw the ball forward, and we didn't get flagged for an illegal forward pass. So I do think it was a design pass play. Does that change anyone's mind at all about how we felt about that play? I don't think anyone here
makes me feel worse.
Felt good about it yesterday, but we did have Ryan was one that was kind of defending the play call. Does that change your mind at all?
I don't mind going for it, but the play call makes me feel worse.
I'm never going to defend the call. I'll defend the ideology. I really will. That you go when you're down 14 and you score a touchdown, you go for 2. That's commonplace around the National Football League in the fourth quarter. So I understand why they went for 2 twice. But what I can't get behind is that this coaching staff, and I'm going to sound like a broken record whenever this is discussed this week, they continue to put their players in bad spots. Like, whether that was supposed to be a pitch, whether that was supposed to be a pass. Like,
sadly, I think it was 100% supposed to be a pitch.
There's no there's no room for error if that was supposed to be a pass. Why are you letting your running back throw the football?
There's a world where it could have been a pass, it could have been a pitch or a keep. Like, it's a guy who missed the whole entire offseason.
Throwing the ball. And I think they should thank their lucky stars he didn't actually pitch it, because if it did get pitched to Gage and he threw a pass and it wasn't completed, the uproar would have been somehow even more that you took the quarterback off the field to throw the ball with a receiver, which I'm pretty sure that was the design of the play. At the very least, I know Gage was supposed to have the ball with the option to run or pass is what it seems. So it's all around. It's very confusing, head-scratching. But as he said, it's another thing. They just don't seem to adjust. And I feel like that's one thing I've said over and over again, because he comes in and they're like, we had that play that we were going to run before we even scored. Like they're setting up to drive, and they're like, we're running this play no matter what, no matter how the drive looks, no matter how Shedeur's look today, no matter that we haven't been able to run the ball, no matter that the Philly special is just this dried up old play that people are still running that's been living off its one whim in 2019. They're like, we're going to run this play no matter what. And it's just something that I think encapsulates this whole time here is that he can't get out of his own way. When he decides on something that they've practiced or that he's scripted, that's it. There's no adjustment. And that's why it's been the results you've gotten outside of 2 years where you were able to ride the script. But most of the time, the script can't be the script in the NFL because things are constantly changing.
Rob, the thing that scares me a little bit is I watched the end of the ACC championship game with you this past Saturday night, a little Virginia versus Duke action. Sat there, just got a beer in hand, like, oh, like you throw up the 2. Like, did we go for 2 here at the end? What do you do if you're there? You go in reverse, whatever? Like, how different was our conversation from what went on at the field on Sunday?
I don't think it was
much different.
It wasn't much different.
Everybody and their mother runs that Philly special play now. Even high school, it's every single high school across the state of Ohio. We just had the state championships. Everyone runs that play. No one's falling for that stuff anymore. Especially Rob, you pointed out.
Left-handed, if Gage is left-handed.
We should. Yeah, that would be a big thing too, because you talked about the offensive line too. Their pass blocking as well. Rob, you mentioned that pre-show. You've not only do you have Nick, you mentioned it on the post-game show in that 2-point conversion. You've got what's left of your offensive line here in 2025. Whiteteller not in there. I don't even know if he was in on the play, but all of the guys that you would normally want in there, not in there, and then you try to run a trick play, reverse play on a 2-point conversion. Doesn't make any sense. They just try to outsmart themselves again.
Can we also this is like, I mean, it's not Scott off topic. It refers to bad Cleveland Browns football, but we didn't talk about the blocked punt at all yesterday on the show.
Unreal.
Where did that rank in just like aesthetically least pleasing blocked punts of all time?
Like I said,
he took it. He could have taken it out of Corey Bojorquez's hands.
We should stop waiting.
Quite literally.
He could have
handed it.
He could have handed it off to him.
It was like when you do the meter totally wrong in Madden, and they get you instantly.
Completely just stop wasting our breaths on anything to do with special teams at all. Like everything that needs to have been said has been said, and every week they're just going to continue to do something that just makes you go, well, yep, expected, or they're going to find a way to do something so completely awful. I've never.
What do you guys think it is this week?
The dude got so clean through the line, he almost could have caught the snap.
One thing that was absolutely stunning for me, guys.
Grabbed it and just went?
It was crazy.
You know what I mean? Like that's just utterly terrible.
They said on the broadcast too, that was their first block punt since 2012. 2012,
and then,
guys.
Of course, when we needed the onside kick that we had got however many weeks ago, I don't even remember who we were playing, but we got it for no reason. I think it was like New England or something.
Of course.
Not even close this week. But.
Nick, what you got?
You know, I think what's like sad about it too is like, you know, it's repeated like too much at this point that the Browns don't make changes to their staff mid-year, and that's why Bubba's still around, and that they don't see an advantage in making a change mid-year. But like you either coach it or you allow it. And like, doesn't this show the fact that we're talking special teams, and you just said that it's not even worth wasting our breath, like they're allowing this to happen. Like they're okay with the losing. And like Bubba will sit up there, I'm sure at his press conference like he did last week, and he blamed it on the fact that he doesn't have a special teams ace. Like I don't think that's really why somebody's coming through unblocked.
Correct.
Yeah, like that doesn't excuse everything. He's blaming the talent on the roster or lack thereof for the special teams failures, and it's just it's so disappointing to me because like when Stefanski was hired, he had like a really cool monologue about his dad who worked in pro sports for the Pistons. And he said, like, if I learned one thing from my father doing this job, it's that like you've got to be honest and you've got to be accountable. And it's like
he said that?
He said, go look at his entry press conference to Cleveland. Because like where is the accountability? Like who's accountable for Bubba Trump? Like for Bubba Van Trump, like I get that like they say, you know, like after the game, like he continually repeats his, you know, that's on me. I'm accountable for it. I'm the head coach and you could put that on me. And it's like, okay, we're putting that on you. We are like, that's your fault. You are the head coach. But like, what's changing? Because it's just Groundhog Day every single Sunday.
Where's the honesty? People were asking about Shedeur all year. They kept saying he wasn't ready. Clearly not. After 3 games, where's the honesty about this offense? All these questions. They ask him about the 2-point, and all he can say, well, not going to get too much into that. You know, obviously we worked on it in practice. Thought it was going to work. Well, why didn't you adjust, Kevin? You know, we're going to get to it on tape. Yep, we're going to get that coached up. Oh, and they're always saying we're going to get that coached up. Why is no one holding them accountable for never getting it coached up? It hasn't. When does it ever get coached up?
It's incredible, too. I know we talked about this a little bit, Sunday last week as well. Bubba Ventrone saying, oh, well, I didn't have the personnel, the players that I wanted to have back there. It's so crazy because that's where you see where it's pervasive. All of the excuses that Kevin Stefanski can make. If Bubba Ventrone is publicly saying that, trying to take a little bit of a shot towards Andrew Berry, you can only imagine what Kevin is saying, where that comes from. I understand that Bubba's a former player, but Kevin Stefanski, he's losing all confidence here in Cleveland. I don't think he has any. He hardly had any entering the year to begin with. But, guys, it's so brutal because Kevin Stefanski, a lot of people wanted him fired. A lot of people say, what would that even do for you in the during the season? But at a certain point, like, these players quit last week. They sort of responded towards the end of the game when Shedeur was playing well. I don't think they're going to come back out against the Bills and the Bengals and last 3-4 games of the season here. Is there any sort of redeeming quality that we can see here in the Browns as they finish off the season?
I think that, yeah. I mean, the thing about the thing about like the NFL and how it's different from other sports is it's such a week-to-week league. So you do have an opportunity. You know, you're 7.5-point underdogs against the Chicago Bears. You look at the forecast projected in Chicago, it's supposed to be below 10 degrees Fahrenheit outside. So it's going to be a cold weather game. And it's like, you know, Pat, to your point, like, okay, prove that you didn't quit. You know, like if you're Stefanski,
there's still something to that.
Prove that the locker room still does have a little bit of fight. And if they come out and if they fight for Shedeur Sanders, okay, that's something that we can hang their cap on. I do think it would be, if they do come out, they're fighting for their quarterback. They're not fighting for their coach, which is unfortunate, but I'll take a little bit of fight wherever I can get it. Again, I'm going to repeat, I'm just so sick of the losing. I will take whatever I can from wherever.
Oh, the losing's not going anywhere, I don't think. But I'll take the rookies continuing to play good. If Harold Fandon keeps up the great work, I keep seeing flashes from Sampson, Judkins. And then, seeing the rest of the guys hopefully close out on some records. They say Carson Schwarzenegger's on his way to a tackle record for rookies, breaking I think it was Patrick Willis who said it with like 118. He's like, if he plays the rest of the season, he'll get that pretty easy. Miles Garrett getting the sack record, and then hopefully Shedeur keeps looking like a starting quarterback. Like that's what you're hoping you could get a couple things set and answered, so you got less of the million things you got to do next year. So that's all you're really watching out for now.
I think you hit it for sure at the end, Rob. I think the biggest thing is just watching Shedeur Sanders. Like you finally got that notice. Like okay, you don't need to go look behind your shoulder. You're the starting quarterback the rest of the way. Like you're going to learn everything you need to know about Shedeur Sanders over the next couple of weeks, including the body of work he's already put together this year. I don't know about you guys. I still have a lot more questions than answers about the quarterbacks in the upcoming draft. So I'm excited about watching the last couple of weeks just because there's a chance you can maybe at least figure out like an interim solution to bridge you to 2027 and beyond or whatever. Like I think Shedeur can take the reins and at least be QB1 for an offseason. And then, hey, what can the kid do with the full offseason and all the reps and everything we talked about at length for weeks upon weeks and an O-line and a wider – who knows? Might as well try.
How do you feel about the people who like kind of compared what Mendoza did on Saturday to what Shedeur did on Sunday? Because I feel like that's just like utterly insane.
Completely.
Well, even if they want to compare it, that's fine, but there's no point in trading up first-round picks for the other one if you already have it.
I think Mendoza did a good job. He won the game.
Sure. He made a great throw on the fade route.
I'm hearing great throw, but you put up 13 points. I'm hearing people say, well, it's Ohio State defense. Like, everyone's going to go to the NFL on that defense. But he literally just had a great game against NFL defense, and I'm hearing, like, some people say, well, no, Mendoza won that game. Like, he should be our guy. Like, trade up for him. I'm like, I'm not saying Shedeur has done it all yet, but, like, Mendoza has never put up 300. He's never even played an NFL game. Like, I've seen Shedeur get wins. I've seen him improve every week. I just don't see the whole thing where I'm literally seeing people say it was more impressive to them what Mendoza did versus Shedeur doing what he did because the Titans are a bad NFL team. But if you took the Titans defense and put it in college football, it would be the greatest defense of all time.
I think we're going to take a break, but coming out of the break, I have it like dumb this down. It's pretty easy. Like the Shedeur Sanders has an opportunity to make this offseason really easy, and we'll tell you why straight ahead.
I love that break. Go into this break here on the Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back into the Big Factor. We're talking Cleveland Browns. We're going to get into college football here on the Big Play Sports Network. Guys, first, let me tell you about our friends over at Garage Beer. They've got those two flavors, the Classic Light Lager and that Classic Lime. No frills, no bitterness, no IPAs. It's just beer the way you want it to taste, and that's beer-flavored beer. Scan the QR code. Give their website a visit. drinkgaragebeer.com to find local retailers who sell garage beer near you. Pick some up for the holidays. It was a hit at my Thanksgiving with both families, my girlfriend's family and my family. Big hit for pick some up for Christmas. You got to get a W there with the garage beer. Nick, you said we can make the offseason really easy for the Cleveland Browns. What's your strategy?
Yeah, so I wrote about this yesterday on Browns on SI, and I'm going to tweet it out at some point this morning. Shedeur Sanders has an opportunity, and this is the reason to watch. This is the reason to care about the Cleveland Browns over the next 4 games, because he single-handedly can simplify their offseason plans. And I think how you do that is if you're out of the range to draft Fernando Mendoza, Shedeur Sanders is your quarterback next year. If you're in the range to draft Fernando Mendoza is probably your quarterback next year. Like, that's how I see this playing out, understanding that a new head coach is going to come in and have 2 first-round draft picks, and that's going to be a new coach and potentially a new GM's decision to make. And obviously, all of that is going to have an influence on Shedeur. But say you got 4 games left. Say you play spoiler in one of those 4 games. Well, you're probably out of the range to draft a quarterback, especially considering like trading both of those to leapfrog a team to get the number 1 overall pick when you've got Shedeur Sanders playing at least passable football. I think even his staunchest haters would say that right now this is passable. Well, you're not going to do that if you've got Shedeur Sanders. Whereas if you lose all 4 of these games and it looks really embarrassing and you've got 3 wins and you get the number 2 overall pick and the only team in front of you is probably going to be the Titans or the Giants, who don't need a quarterback, then you're probably going to take a quarterback. So this is all really simple. Like, over the next 4 games, it's an audition. It truly is. Like, prove to them to not use that first pick on a quarterback by knocking them out of the range to draft a quarterback. Like, win one of these games, and the job, I don't know if it's his next year, but you're at least in the room with a veteran quarterback with a chance to compete to be the week 1 starter.
100% too.
I think it's really that simple.
It really is. And you look at it too, the Browns, they go on the road to Chicago, like you said. Chicago's defense is probably the bottom third of the league. They're not abysmal by any stretch, but you're going to have to throw the ball a little bit against Caleb Williams. I think they're going to be able to score a little bit on the Browns. We thought the Titans wouldn't be able to score, but I think the Bears offense, if they can get Rome Odunze back and get their running game going, it'll be interesting to see that game. The big one that I have circled is the Browns-Bills at home. That one is going to be similar to the Browns-Raiders game in Las Vegas, where that game is probably going to be a home game for the Bills. Like, it is, they are going to be loud, and they're going to be coming down I-90 over here at home in 2 weeks. If Shedeur Sanders can play well in the cold, in the snow, whatever it is, against a Bills team going up against Josh Allen, I think you've got your kind of answer. Even if he does lose that football game, I still think that the Browns would have a lot of hope going into next year. Rob, do you think with, you've got 2 home games left against the Bills, and I believe at home against the Steelers as well, they've got 2 home games remaining, but is there anything you would need to see at home as opposed to for the rest of the 4 games, including the 2 road games?
He's just got to continue to play well. I was talking to Jack a little bit about this yesterday. I think you'll see a lot of people expose themselves if they start like really counting the numbers, because if you think he needs to throw for 350 yards every game to remain the starter or to prove that he could be the starter going forward, I think that's very egregious, because every game's not going to call for that. Like, he picked up a lot of those yards in the comeback yesterday or on Sunday. But I need to see him continue like those. It needs to be clean games. Like, if we can't run the ball, you're going to need him to throw for like 2 to 250 yards. You're going to hope they continue to trust him in the red zone, because Quiet has kept our red zone offense has been really bad, and he's proven to be extremely efficient down there and like generating touchdowns. So if they would continue to let him do that, you would see him, probably putting out a touchdown or 2 per game. But you don't want to see any more of the bad picks where you scramble around and throw up a meatball over across the middle of the field. Like, you want to see him continue to get rid of those mistakes. But for the most part, I think he's doing a good job. If he just keeps taking the step forward he's done every week, that would be it. Because all I've done every week, you can say you've seen improvement. Seen him making the smart play, throwing it away. He's shown trust throwing it over the middle of the field versus zone more this week. He's getting more on the same page with Jerry Jeudy. So you just want to keep seeing stuff like that happen. The W's, if they come, they come. But this team doesn't really win a lot.
So what do you think? What do you guys think? Like 1 to 100, the chances are with it. Kind of seems like Shedeur's obviously taking over the job with Kevin announcing him starting the rest of the year. Dillon Gabriel back on the roster next year.
It all depends. Like
I don't think they give up on him after 1 year.
Yeah, like I don't think it's very high, but at the same time, like say Shedeur comes back to earth and just doesn't really do much in these next 4 games, then like it's gonna be up to the new head coach. Like we got to see who we get in here to coach this thing. We got to see who's gonna be making the trades, who's gonna be making these draft picks. Like
we talked about yesterday. It really. Right now, the next domino to fall is how he plays the last 4 games, because that's going to completely determine the coaching search. If it's a good 4 games, that means you're looking for someone who's like, I want to come coach the team and I want Shedeur as my quarterback. If he doesn't, that means you're trying to get someone to come in and be like, all right, do you want to draft a guy? Do we need to try to trade for a guy? Do we need to sign a guy? What do you want to do? So it's still just a little bit too early, but we're getting to the point where all the questions we kind of wanted answered have been answered, and then we'll be able to go into the next phase, into the offseason and see what we're trying to do.
And do we think there's any chance that Kevin Stefanski can win, say, 3 or 4 or something, and pull a Mike Pett and keep his job? Or do you think that he is cooked for next year?
No, I think so. I think even like when you look at like
Could you imagine?
the strength of schedule, if you will, in some of these games, like I think if he wins half of them, like because I don't think like the Haslams aren't like desperately trying to fire Kevin Stefanski. Like I actually think they really it's the opposite. Like they like Kevin.
Give him every
They're
chance.
looking
They
for
want to
any
give him
reason to
every
keep him.
chance that they can. So like even if he wins one of these games, like say he upsets Buffalo at home and that like shakes up the AFC playoff picture, like I think they could say, hey, that's the things were
hang with
looking
the good
bleak
teams,
and
yep.
he gets a big win, and like
I
talk
think-
themselves into it that way.
I think for him to keep his job, it's a must compete these next 2 weeks. I'm not going to say you got to beat the Bears.
That's a great way to put it.
2 playoff teams. But a win versus the Steelers in a home game and then a closeout win versus the Bengals could be the momentum he needs to get his job to the next season.
The Brandon Allen Week 18 game.
a big win versus the Steelers, I think, could move mountains for this team. And if Shedeur was able to get a win at home, like that would really do numbers for them. And then closing out versus the Bengals, which could be a team that's not even trying.
Could be.
There's just
That
so
could
much
honestly be Joe
football
Flacco
left.
as well.
Like it's so tough
Still
to
a
do the
month left of
offseason,
football,
dude.
man.
Because like you look at this, and the Athletic just put up their like NFL playoff simulator, but they also have their projected 2026 draft order and the percentages. Like the Raiders right now have a 44% chance of having the number 1 overall pick. The Browns have an 8% chance, but the Browns have a 64% chance of staying here in the top 5. So there's so much left. And then when you look at the draft, and for the people that want to, try to figure out like, is it Shedeur or is it Mendoza? I mentioned the Giants and the Raiders play each other. The Saints and the Titans play each other. The Jets and the Saints play each other. The Giants and the Commanders are this week, and the Rams own Atlanta's pick. So there's a ton of the way to go.
Who's ahead of us right now?
Let me pull this
Because
up.
I really think there's only about
Titans and the Saints, I believe.
So
don't
if
think
the
you-
draft was to be held today, it would be the Giants with the number 1 overall pick.
Not
They're
taking
obviously not taking a quarterback, but they could sell that. So like a team like the Jets could jump up if they really wanted to. The Las Vegas Raiders would have the number 2 overall pick.
Quarterback.
team.
The Tennessee Titans would have the number 3 overall pick.
I just don't think they do it. I think Cam Ward's still pretty good.
Agreed. And the Cleveland, and you're not giving up on like number 1 overall the second
one
year,
season.
even if he.
And like we said, I don't think the Saints are going to do it, but I think they're behind us.
And then the Browns are 4, the Saints are 5, the Commanders are 6, the Jets are 7, Cardinals are 8.
I could definitely see
Atlanta's
Cardinals,
pick
man.
going to the
a
Rams is 9.
New York trade.
So when you say
love
that, they were I believe they were drafted relatively similar to each other. Do you think the Saints have more confidence in Shuck than we do in Shedeur?
I thought
interesting
Shuck
question.
was a second-round pick.
He was in the second round.
He
for
went
sure.
that high?
Yeah, man.
Oh, wow. Good for Tyler.
He was like towards the end of the
He's
second
been
round.
playing
But
good.
yeah, he's been
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
well.
he had a diving touchdown in the end zone on Sunday.
They got more confidence in-
Won them the game.
I think they roll with him going into next year.
For sure.
And, why not? If he does a solid job the rest of the year, why not just see what else you could fix, and then you could revisit it if it doesn't work out the next season.
They got more confidence in him than Spencer Rattler. Guys, we talked about
Shedeur, Deshaun, and Spencer Rattler.
yeah, what a quarterback room that would be. But guys, we got Fernando Mendoza talk all over Cleveland. He just beat the Buckeyes with Indiana. He's now going to be headed to New York as a Heisman finalist. We're going to talk about that when we get back here on The Big Factor. Welcome back into the Big Factor, everybody. Pat McGuire, Jack O'Rourke, Nick Padone, Rob Watson, and we got you here on a Tuesday here of the Big Play Sports Network. We just got our Heisman finalists named yesterday. That will be unveiled on, I believe it's Saturday night at 7:30 is when the Heisman will be awarded. Jack, the college football season ended for you mentally on Sunday at noon, but your guy Jeremiah Love did make it to New York. He will be sitting there with the hearts up, as well as Julian Sayin, Fernando Mendoza, and guys Diego Pavia as well, which is interesting because we got two guys playing on teams that are not in the playoff in the Heisman debate. Anywhere you want to start with, do you think the SEC will come to bat for Diego Pavia, Nick? Because a lot of people are saying that two Midwest quarterbacks aren't going to win over an SEC quarterback.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, I will say like that no real surprises here in the Final Four, so I think that's good. How it ultimately shakes out, I don't know. I always say subscribe to like follow the odds, follow the lines, follow the money. Like Fernando Mendoza's been the favorite for a minute now. Julian Sayin had a hot case when he beat Michigan. I was like, hold on now, that's a story. You know, he was quiet in the crowd at the big house in the snow, kid from California, kind of a cool moment. But then you lose in the Big Ten championship game, and it's like, that probably hurts you a little bit. So not really sure how it shakes out. I guess like if I had to bet on it, I'm probably just going to take the favorite and bet on Mendoza.
Yeah, for sure. And the odds in the Heisman right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook, Fernando Mendoza minus 2,000. So take that.
Notre Dame was minus 1,200 to make the playoffs at noon on Sunday, so you never know.
I guess they were, but Pavia is
I think
plus
Pavia
950, which surprises me.
So, I mean, I guess if you're going for the value bet, you could sprinkle on Pavia. But, I mean, they made the throw, and then, like, the announcer was like, Heisman moment when he hits the fade down the sideline to win. He won it. Like everyone had been saying for a while, it was going to be the winner of the Big Ten championship game who wins the Heisman. Mendoza, while granted, it was a low-scoring game like some people did. So I don't think Pavia is dead, but I think Mendoza being the leader all year, Indiana is undefeated, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, yeah, I think they're just going to give it to him.
With a good win over Oregon as well. And Jack, the thing too, I know Notre Dame, I said that college football ended for you, but you talk about this being a quarterback award, and we've said this is such a media-driven. You have to have a Heisman moment. You have to have all of these things as a quarterback. Jeremiah Love at plus 40,000. Like those odds are
40,000 now.
40,000. Yeah, he's not gonna win the award.
Is he even gonna get a vote?
That's the thing, right? It's like, do you get a seat at the table there in New York? But Jack, at what point is the Heisman just a quarterback award? Because we saw Ashton Genty and Travis Hunter in recently where the running back just doesn't get valued, and Jeremiah Love, he's kind of fallen victim to that.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't think so, because I mean I know it tends to be quarterbacks, like you have to go back, is Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram the last two running backs from the Heisman, I think, so probably about a decade ago, a little bit over. Like I don't think it's anti-running back. Like I think you definitely need to be a bell cow back. Like I don't think you can be a Jeremiah Love and get 55% of your team's carries and win the Heisman. Like I just don't think that's a reality anymore. Like I don't think you can have like a 1A, 1B like he does with Jadari and Price and win the Heisman. But I think it's possible that a non-quarterback can still win. I think it's just a really weak class for the Heisman. Like I think this is going to be remembered or not remembered really. You know, I think it's going to be a very weak Heisman class across the board. Like you got like,
it's going to be a poll.
What's Mendoza's Heisman moment? Like,
couldn't you say that last year too? Kind of like Travis Hunter is a do-it-all, plays both ways at Colorado, and you know Pat mentioned two of the four didn't make the college football playoff. Like Colorado, I don't even think finished the season ranked last year.
No, but I mean like Genty winning.
That's a Heisman. That's the NCAA.com. Sorry about that, fellas.
NCAA. Hey, they're tapping us after yesterday's show.
I guess, right?
But I mean, like, yeah.
And like Dylan Gabriel was on the stage last year.
Yeah, that's incredible to think about.
It's going to be one of those
I mean, I think Genty should have won last year. I think Genty does have some of that, like, like, his numbers were nuts. They were video game numbers. Like, I think that would have given... I think they picked the wrong Heisman winner, I think is the issue.
It'll be one of those ones where in a couple years it's like, oh, man, Fernando Mendoza won it that year.
Yeah, he did.
Shucks. Like, we're trying to get that pull. But you throwing $1 on
Jason
Jeremiah
White,
Love?
The interesting...
I mean, no, I already got my coin in on him.
Got the coin in on him.
You didn't get it at the best odds, though.
I'll throw $1 on it for you.
An interesting thing to follow, guys, as we wrap this back to the Browns, is if Fernando Mendoza does indeed win the Heisman, which he's looking like it will definitely happen, he could also go number 1 overall. That would make the 9th Heisman winner quarterback to be taken number 1 overall and have won the Heisman. Do you think that would be overplayed? And honestly, if you look at these names, Cam Newton, Jameis Winston,
right? Yeah.
Jameis, Baker, Kyler, Joe Burrow, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, Fernando Mendoza is below all of those guys. in terms of an NFL prospect. He's below all of those guys.
I don't
Well,
think
Jameis
so.
Really?
was highly regarded.
He was
Yeah, I
highly
was gonna say,
regarded
in terms
coming
of
out,
hype
guys.
Coming out, I think Mendoza's hype coming out.
Who were
is
the other
lowest.
guys after Jameis?
You got Cam Newton, Jameis, Baker, Kyler, Joe Burrow, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams.
I would say
Kyler,
they
there was
all
a
had
debate-
hype.
There was a debate about him playing baseball.
Yeah, but that's more of a statement
Kyler
on him.
came
being-
in and had pretty instant success.
Yeah,
He did. I think Mendoza though,
I put him over like Bryce Young.
He's 6'5". He looks the part. Like I don't know. Like I definitely don't think Mendoza would be like the worst. I also don't know that he'd be the #1 overall pick because like if I'm New York, right? Like say it was today. If I'm New York, like no, I'm not trading in. I'm staying right there, and I'm taking either Reuben Bain Jr. out of Alabama or I'm taking Arvell Reese out of Ohio State, and I'm getting a game-changing defensive player.
like they thought they did with Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean, they've made that mistake before.
But they got Jackson Dart, so they're not going QB.
I know.
But
I'm talking about quarterback, but I'm talking
and
about
they've
where
got
you could
Neighbors,
trade
They
back.
got Scatterbo.
if someone's coming with a package, though, I mean,
To me, they're more likely to trade back than keep the pick.
Say you
in my
could
personal
finesse
opinion.
like a
No,
a
you
first
definitely.
this
If you don't
year.
need the quarterback, you can get whatever. You can
Yeah,
get
like,
the King's
you name your
ransom
price.
every
Yeah,
single
like
time
we,
you
like
trade out of it.
if we got 2 firsts for Hunter, like they might be able. If they
Yeah.
really believe in him, you get a first, 2 seconds maybe.
I just think like if you're in New York, you're set up so nice for next year. Like
sure.
when you think about
They
like
low-key
Jackson
don't
Dart,
need- they don't-
Neighbors, Scatterbo. The offensive line is a little bit suspect. You're obviously not taking a tackle in this draft at 1. Again, that'd be a trade down scenario. The defensive line is actually good. So like it's just that they've had too many injuries and ultimately they're a really young team without a head coach. So I think if you like nail the head coach and if you could get like an actual game-changing player, and like I know they kind of thought that they were maybe getting that with Abdul Carter at 3 and he maybe hasn't lived up to the Micah Parsons comparisons that he was getting coming out. Like you just keep loaded up on that defense and you keep developing Dart, Scatterbo, and Neighbors together, like you could be a squad that could contend for the playoffs in that.
I vetted it for 20
They're
minutes.
actually, I do have breaking news. Noted New York Giants fan, friend of the program, guest of the program, host of Honor the Land, Max Loeb, currently tuning into the Big Factor, and
he's definitely saying trade down.
and I quote: "Giants need DB so bad, I think they will trade back." I was actually gonna say
Yeah.
we should just text
Because
Loeb
they
and
got
ask him.
a
That's
whole
perfect.
D line, they got their quarterback.
Max,
Neighbors
I see you,
is
man.
coming back.
Paulson Adebo,
They
I'm
low
sorry.
key, all the premium positions you would take at 1, they're not. They
Correct.
Just, they
And
couldn't.
that's why I
You
think
could
they
get more
trade out.
value.
And so that makes it more likely, in my opinion, that Fernando Mendoza does get picked at 1. Guys,
By who is the question?
that's the question,
Jets,
though.
Jets come in.
Your
Yeah,
I'm saying
Cleveland
Jets.
Browns.
The Jets.
Your Cleveland Browns could be. Yeah, the Jets, I could see them trading up as well. But guys,
Which means we might get them at 4 if we stay.
you could. Yeah, it's like the Baker all over again. You get 1 and 4.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of feels like. Is like, do you stay at 1? Do you
my
take the
God.
quarterback?
I'll never forget those debates, man.
I'll never
the
forget
people
it.
that wanted. There were so many people that were just like, take Saquon Barkley at 1, and then whatever quarterback comes, falls to at 4.
Actually, not a bad
If you
strat.
think
Yeah.
about how
That
like,
was the right choice.
if you
That
think
wasn't a
about
crazy
how like
combo.
the thing has materialized, like Saquon Barkley probably would have been worthy of being the #1 overall pick.
100%.
What would have got you
But we
was
got Nick Chubb
the
in the second
Patriots were trying to trade up to 2 for Baker. So the Patriots would have been the second pick. They would have drafted Baker. Sam Darnold still would have went 3 to the
You've got
Jets.
Josh
And Josh
Allen.
Allen and
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley in Cleveland
I mean,
would have been how that.
you know we're taking Josh Rosen.
Shit.
Yeah,
They would
you're
have found
right.
it.
Yeah.
It was
Take me
going to be
to
Josh
break.
Rosen.
Take me to
Yeah, we're going to take it to break.
We can't
'Cause,
get
guys,
too excited.
we're talking quarterbacks, and there's another new face, a familiar face who might be coming back in the NFL. It's Unk status. We'll talk about that when we get back on the Big Factor. Hey, everybody, welcome back into the Big Factor. We're talking NFL quarterbacks. It's a quarterback-driven league. You've heard that 1,000 times on this very program, on this very network. Pat McGuire, Jack O'Rourke, Nick Padone, Rob Watson. We're always diving into quarterbacks late December, mid-December, honestly, in Cleveland, Ohio. But The Buckeyes were just in Indy in Lucas Oil Stadium. Unfortunately for the Colts, they just sustained a really devastating injury. Daniel Jones tore his Achilles. He'll be out for this season and much of next season, I would have to imagine. Maybe back for training camp, but you never know with an Achilles injury, guys.
Colts are screwed.
Colts are screwed, Nick.
Or
are they?
No, could we
just call it? Don't call it ball strike. Colts are in trouble.
Could we throw this out? Like, if you think about it, they were. I think they had 7 wins. They were 7-2 when they made the trade for Sauce Gardner. They traded their 2026 first-round pick, their 2027 first-round pick, because Daniel Jones looked like, okay, this could be your bridge off of the Anthony Richardson thing. You take a quarterback at 4. He's clearly not your long-term solution. Like, that was abundantly clear last year. It was even more clear now. He's hurt as well, so they can't even go to him. And now you don't have a first-round pick to get off of this next year, and
just
back
brutal.
to the reclamation project quarterback land the Colts are going for this year and next.
And in steps our boy right here,
Phillip
Rivers.
Wow!
Phillip Rivers. So here's the thing, Jack. A grandfather, by the way. Phillip Rivers' oldest kid is the same age as Riley Leonard. That's courtesy of Mina Kimes. Yeah, the Colts are bringing in Phillip Rivers, old friend Phillip Rivers, as a potential emergency quarterback because your boy, Notre Dame alum Riley Leonard,
is garbage.
Fair, but he also hurt his knee.
Injured.
He hurt his knee a little bit.
He's like Dylan Gabriel. He was injured, not garbage. There's a difference, and they're distinct.
Do you think?
How old is Phil?
Phil, oh man, we'll have to Google this one. But
the big 2.5.
I mean, if Phil's coming back,
44.
If Phil's coming back, I don't want to watch Gage Larvidat next week. I want Josh Cribbs back out there. Like if we're just gonna play back the hits.
Hear me, Josh, bro.
How about this?
I mean, if you're in Indianapolis, why not call Brady from the booth?
I got one for you. Talking about the Browns, doesn't Odell Beckham Jr. owe us a little bit of a favor for letting him out of that contract?
And I do think he's looking for some coin as well. So.
Yeah, he certainly is after being suspended, by the way, for 6 games or whatever that was for steroids. But guys, do you think that injury for the Colts really flips the AFC? Because the Colts were up at the top. I don't know if I would call them the favorite necessarily, but the Chiefs just lost on Sunday Night Football to the Texans, a very good Houston Texans defense. AFC is wide open right now. The Ravens just lost to the Steelers at home. I believe that game was at home. So the Steelers are, 7-6 at this point. AFC is wide open. Do you see anyone taking this and running with it, Nick?
No, I don't. Like, I think this is going to be just one of the most bizarre playoffs ever. And like every year we play this game with the Chiefs where it feels like, oh, is the Chiefs dynasty over? And you can't count out Mahomes. But this is the year that it actually seems like, wait a minute, they lose one more game the whole rest of the way, and they actually are done when you look at the NFL playoff picture. So could it be a weird team that nobody saw coming into the season, like a Denver Broncos or a New England Patriots? I think the Patriots would probably be my preferred pick because I trust Drake May at this stage a little bit more than I trust Bo Nix. But dude, this is going to be a very fascinating AFC, and I know I'm going to be repeating myself when I say this. It makes me even more frustrated about the Browns because it's just like, man, you don't even have to be awesome. Like, you don't even have to be what the Chiefs have been over the last 3 years. You don't have to be Buffalo. You don't have to be Cincinnati the year that they knocked off Kansas City. Like, you literally just had to be the Broncos, which are good. They are finding a way to win because they got a couple good players and they're really well coached and they got a nice defense. But
shout out to Ryan.
Frustrating.
That was Ryan's preseason pick, man. Shout out to Ryan.
Whatever is the worst thing that could happen to Cleveland, whatever the biggest kick in the cojones or pie in the face could be, will always come to fruition for Cleveland. That would absolutely be a Houston Texans Super Bowl with all of our first-round picks and how they use them to develop their roster.
Can I go back to this Colts thing? Because I was one of the people that was scratching my head live on air when they made that move.
Me too.
To trade these picks for Sauce Gardner and to see how everything completely just fell on its head. And now the Jets have 2 first-round picks this year, which could lend back to them being able to get Mendoza. Maybe they say, we'll give you 2 firsts for that pick. Say the Giants stay at 1. This is we were really because the I don't remember her first name, but the ears say that's now she's on the sidelines wearing that
Carly, I believe,
and she's going for it. But that's the aggression that you could do too much at times, especially with things that like sometimes when the iron's hot, you just got to let it be hot, but not that doesn't mean
there's a difference between being aggressive and being reckless.
Yeah, like and that was something that was reckless, and they kind of started feeling themselves, and they were 8-2, but at the end of the day, Daniel Jones was your quarterback. And then he fractures the fibula. After you make that trade for Sauce, you go in all in, you give away picks. Now he's done for this year and most of next year, probably be out all of next year, like a Deshaun Watson situation. And you're just completely out of luck.
Kyler to the Colts?
Kyler to the Colts. I like that a lot.
But now we're just throwing more stuff at the wall and hoping.
Right,
yeah. I'd take him.
That's their only choice.
That's their only choice, really.
But a situation you didn't have to be in if you didn't say,
right.
but you made that all in at like the halfway point of the NFL season when you don't know all this other stuff that could happen. So, I mean, that's something that people are going to have to deal with out there in Indy.
I think I can back this up too because the Deshaun trade happened right after they won the Super Bowl. But like everyone remembers the whole huge Rams like F them picks mantra, right? Like that was like the whole thing. Like this is the flip of it though, you know? Sometimes it doesn't work out. Like it's not always like gonna be that kind of a risk. Like the Colts, you're out 2 picks now. The Browns, you're out 3 picks. Like stuff can go bad too.
But I mean, who are the Colts when the Rams had the F them picks method? You had Aaron Donald, Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp in his prime. Like that was a real.
They have Daniel Jones.
I guess. Man.
The thing about the Colts,
Patriots winning the AFC though.
I think so too. Yeah, because that's sort of like by default at this point too. Like the Colts, they relied on Jonathan Taylor so heavily. Like Daniel Jones was playing incredibly well, but that's what happens when you get someone who is, vying for Offensive Player of the Year. Jonathan Taylor hasn't played so well lately, but up until the first 11, 12 games of the season, he was Offensive Player of the Year, damn near favorite. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens in the AFC, guys.
You got to know when you have fool's gold. You got to know.
Interesting though, because it was hard to say that was kind of fool's gold, though, because they were playing really well. Shane Steichen's a really good coach. He led the Eagles to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't say...
I've seen the Colts literally do this before, though, and they didn't go all in that year. But when they had Carson Wentz, the first year Jonathan Taylor was playing really good. They had a hot start, and I think they missed the playoffs at like 10-6.
The Colts
I do hate to say it, but Jim
one of these teams, man, like this is a team that literally hired Jeff Saturday to be their interim head coach, who had never even been
off PTI.
Literally off TV. So we are, we always talk about like wasting our breath. Like this is an organization that you just have to expect the unsensible. They traded those 2 first-round picks for a cornerback.
And it wasn't even an edge rusher.
Yeah,
I like Sauce. He's a great player, but he's a corner, and they had a pretty good secondary already. So it's just
Travarius Ward also out with a lot of concussions. He's going to be probably landing on IR again. But guys, there's so much more to talk about in the AFC. We'll talk about that later in the week. Got so much more to get to. We got finish it out here today, fellas, with our FanDuel parlay of the day coming up next. Hey, everybody. Welcome back into the Big Factor. We got our FanDuel parlay of the day. Nick, you want to take us away? Tell us with our friends over at FanDuel.
Yeah, guys, it was a good night of NFL last night, and we are looking to get back in the win column today. You know how fast NFL game days move. One big play and everything changes. That's why live betting on FanDuel is truly a game changer, because with FanDuel, you can bet in real time while the game unfolds. If the score just flipped, jump on a new spread or the live money line. If a wide receiver's heating up, bet the next touchdown score or total yards. Think that drive is going to stall in the red zone? Take a live field goal prop or fade the total. Live player props, team totals, drive results, updated spreads, next play markets. It's all right there. It's fast. It's fun. With FanDuel, your live bets move as quickly as the game does. So whether you're riding momentum or fading the hype, FanDuel is going to put you right in the middle of every single moment. Visit FanDuel.com/bigplay to download the app and live bet the NFL with us all season long. Must be 21 plus, present in select states. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com.
All right, Jack, take us away.
Let's do it, baby. We're starting out with BYU Moneyline. We're on 1 tonight. They're taking on Clemson at home in Provo. Then Ooh, a little home game here for the Buckeyes tonight. Down. What's the name of their best one?
Schottenstein?
Something like
Oh, no.
Schottenstein?
But
Schottenstein. Yeah,
we're
something
gonna
like
defend
that.
home
If they got
court,
Illinois
though.
come in, they're going to defend home court just enough. Maybe not all the way, but just enough. That's 4.5. Then
Illinois
UConn
ranked?
money line, Florida coming in and building a little bit of a ranked matchup here. I love this one. We're taking the Huskies, and then, hey, last but not least, Villanova. They're coming in to face the Fighting Elliott Cadeaux and the Michigan Wolverines.
A North
Michigan-
Carolina fan just shuddered here.
Yeah, they did. Michigan minus 17.5. The Fighting Elliott Cadeaux. Get this one done. BYU money line, Ohio State plus 4.5. UConn money line, Michigan minus 17.5. A lot of college ball tonight. Let's get it done for some hoops.
Yeah, guys, that's plus 605 on the FanDuel Sportsbook.
Hey,
Go get yourself
ooh.
some bread. Anytime I can bet against Villanova, I'm going to do it as a Xavier fan. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm Pat McGuire, Jack
Hey,
at work.
War.
That's right. Nick Padone, Rob Watson caught me in my tracks right there, Jack. Thanks for tuning in to The Big Factor, everybody, and have a good rest of your Tuesday.